Episode 23, Shoe Booty Sports, ladies and gents. We are coming at you Tuesday night, just before 8:30 p.m. Central Time, March 29th, on a Tuesday. I think I said Tuesday, but just in case, there you go. It's on a Tuesday. But yes, episode 23, Shoe Booty Sports. This is Graham Powell with co-host Bradley Brown.
You.
And we had one way that we were going to start the show, or at least I did in my mind, but we will jump into a few things have happened since then, one of which was the Oscars, and it was interesting this year. I watched clips of it, didn't see it live, but watched clips of it for the first time since college when I had to watch it for my multimedia news reporting class, some journalism class where we had to watch the Oscars. So, and that was the last time I had watched it. But yes, everybody's been talking about the slap, Will Smith's slap on Chris Rock. So, looking at it at first, I I was probably like everybody else, where I was like that was staged, right? And then you see Will Smith from his seat as he went back yelling, and okay, I was like, okay, that's not fake. Like nobody acts that well. So, and then the way Chris Rock reacted. Although I went back and looked at it today, and I didn't catch this until somebody said something about it, and then I went back and watched it. But you see Chris Rock about to drop a bomb on him, like after the
He
fact.
loads up. Yeah,
You
he
you
loads up.
you you see him say, you hear him and you see him say, "I could," and then he goes, "Okay," and then he just looks at the camera. He goes, "I could," okay. And then he just looks at the camera and goes, "Okay." And I was like, "Yep,
Yeah.
that would have been. He could have dropped a massive bomb on him because we all know the story, the open marriage that Jada has gone on her show and been very open about. So yes, I think the moral of the story is open relationships are very healthy, and there's
100%.
evidence of there's
100%.
definite evidence of that based on Will Smith just walking up and smacking Chris Rock in the face.
Yeah. The best tweet I seen was I forget who it was, but it's like Will Smith's a better man than I am. I would never defend someone else's girl like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a good
oh man,
one.
yeah, that's great.
The other favorite of mine was it was some football player that did that. The other favorite of mine was Jada's so gonna let Will watch tonight.
I didn't see that one. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I gave that one a retweet. It was I would have yeah. It wasn't that verbatim, but that was the message. But it was pretty funny. The whole thing was funny. That was the thing. Like I thought the joke was funny. I thought that a lot of people were like it's a bad joke. I was like, oh, it was pretty good. Just off the top of your head like that. I don't know if he thought it
Yeah.
through, but either way, I was like, I thought it was funny, and that's what a comedian does, especially somebody like Chris Rock. As good as he is, and then Will comes up and slaps him, and that made it even funnier to me. I don't know. I get a kick out of those awkward moments in real life, and when I'm not I mean that's real life, but when I'm involved or when I'm not involved, I just find that kind of those awkward encounters,
Just
altercations, I guess if you want to call it that, funny. It's
yeah.
entertaining.
Watching the reactions of the people surrounding them was great.
That
Because
was great.
at first Will Smith, he was laughing, and
Yeah,
then it cut
he's
away,
laughing at
and then
it,
it
but
yeah,
you see
and then you
Jada
can
with the
see
eye roll.
Jada just like, no, what? You can't talk like that.
Yeah, and then he went to go defend her honor, and then boom. So it was.
Yeah.
How would you compare that to Juwan Howard's slap?
Oh, 1,000% better. I mean,
Yes,
Jawan, his wasn't really a slap. His
it
his
was more of a
his is
face
more like
swipe.
a swipe. Yeah,
Yeah, it
he
was like a face
reached out
swipe.
and's like, I'm gonna aggressively knock that fly off your nose, like rah. And but yeah, this
Yeah,
dude just, I mean, Will loaded up and freaking. It's
Will
like
full on loaded
watching them
up.
slap contests. Like he just
Yes,
smacked. Like I'm surprised he didn't freaking throw on some baby powder before he slapped him. I mean, that would have been freaking hilarious.
I'm surprised. surprised Chris Rock's jaw is that strong. I mean, it was. I mean, I'm not saying he should have been dropped by it, but he
Hey,
took
he's
it.
got a jaw. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he took it pretty well, and his reaction, the way he handled it after for something that happens
Oh,
like that. I mean, he handled it as well as you could.
yeah.
Like I said, I did
Wait.
not notice the. I thought he was just kind of. I don't want to say overwhelmed, but just in shock at what had just happened when he did the okay, thing. But I didn't
Yeah.
realize watching it the first few times few times that he said, I could, and then he
We
said,
all watched
okay,
it. We all
yes.
watched it a few times.
But I didn't realize that was what he was doing. He was getting ready to throw a knockout punch,
Yep.
and it's coming. Like it's coming. Like there's a reason he's like. I mean, you're not going to press charges. Pressing charges that'd be a weak move as a grown man or boy or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's it's coming. Retaliation's coming. He's going on tour soon, and whatever special he comes out with next on whether it's Netflix or whatever, it's going to be the most watched comedy special in history. It's gonna surpass Chappelle on Netflix, etc. Because people want to know what he's gonna say, and he's got to, right?
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, but it's I look forward to it. But anyway, yeah. But to Will's credit, 10,000 times better than Jawan's face swipe. So as far as slaps go, yeah, Will. What would you rate Will's slap game on a scale
Dude,
of 1 to 10?
like a solid 8.5. There's room for improvement, but it was a solid. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
It was good. Like from the way he walked up to there casually, and then you just don't see it coming, and then just boom, and then just casually
Well,
walks back, fixes his suit a little bit. I'm gonna give him a solid. I'm gonna up you a little bit. I'm gonna give him a solid 8.9.
yeah, you bring in a little bit of style points in there with the checking of the suit and everything.
Well, just the casualness of it, just the casualness of just going up there and just. I mean, Chris Rock doesn't see it. He doesn't expect it. He thinks it's like going to be just something funny, like. And
Oh
no, it
yeah,
wasn't funny. I mean, it was funny, but not to Chris Rock or or a lot of people. Ryan Gosling's face was my favorite, by the way, because that was my reaction. Just the whole wow, that really just happened. That that was my favorite facial expression from that. But yeah, I'm gonna give Will a solid 8.9, and I'm gonna give Chris's chin a 9.3. So that's the rating of Chris Rock's chin and Will Smith's slap. I can't even put Juwan Howard's. I can't even rate Juwan Howard's slap because it wasn't a slap; it was a face swipe. So
it wasn't even a good face wipe.
no, it wasn't. I mean, you could say people were in between them, but Juwan Howard's got long arms. He should be able to reach over there and deliver a decent face swipe. I would think. Okay, so since this is a sports show, we'll jump back to sports. There was an an NCAA tournament going on over the weekend. The Elite Eight games on the men's and women's side, which overall, I mean, just combining the two, the women's side was entertaining. Like it was the opposite. Like the men and women were opposites as far as the men's tournament was very entertaining, really up until this past weekend. The only good game was the Villanova game.
Yeah.
And who was it that Villanova Houston. Yeah, the Villanova Houston game was it was the first one of the day, and it was on Saturday, and it was the only one that was.
Yeah, the next closest game was the blowout by the Hogs. That's because they got on some points in the last couple of minutes. I mean, that was the only. Yeah.
I told a lie. It wasn't Villanova. Wasn't Saturday. That was Sunday because I was mowing. I was putting my new lawnmower together, but had the TV on. So yes, I had my push mower in the living room with the TV on the background, putting it together fresh out the box. So, yeah, Villanova was the first game Sunday, and it was the only good game all weekend on the men's side. Yeah, Duke, Arkansas did what they could to hang with them, but then played sloppy there at the end of the first half, and Duke took advantage of it. So, yeah, and then Duke Arkansas tried to come out. I mean, they cough button. They came out in the second half, locked in, and closed the gap a little bit, but then Duke was clearly the better team, though.
Yeah,
and
the final 2.5 minutes in the first half just killed us, man.
That did it,
man.
But
we just couldn't overcome that.
They couldn't.
But Duke, the better team definitely won. They're good. So,
and Duke is the best team left in the tournament to me, from what I've seen. They have the most talent. They're playing better as the tournament goes on. That's the thing. They're having less trouble with teams as the games progress. Now, I mean, their last loss was to Va Tech, but their last regular season loss was to UNC. So that should be fun. Duke, North Carolina, never met in the NCAA tournament, and they're meeting in the Final Four in Coach K's last season. So it is a good story. It's a little too Hollywood for it's very Hollywood.
Yeah.
Coach K goes out, beats UNC in the Final Four, and then goes out on top and wins the whole thing, which they're probably the favorites to do. I don't see anybody left beating them if they're hitting on all cylinders. So it's very likely that could happen, but don't sleep on North Carolina either. So we've got Villanova. Okay. Now we've got UNC Duke. And the other bracket is, I'm drawing a blank. Villanova and who? This is when the pulling up of the brackets would be good.
Man, I'll just look on my phone.
That's what I'm having to do.
I'm feeling pretty lazy today. Of course, most days it's Villanova and Kansas. The only number one seed, we should have known that.
No, why would I want to do that? Okay. Yeah. We're just drawing a blank there. Yeah, Kansas very much owned Miami in the second half of that game, because it was close at the half, and then I came in taking a break from mowing to come in to get whatever I needed, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is over.
It flipped quick.
So we'll do some picks.
Flipped pretty quick.
It did. We'll do some picks. All right. So Duke, North Carolina. I'm going to go with Duke. And Villanova, Kansas. This is a tough one. Villanova, Kansas. I mean, Duke and North Carolina could be mega close, but I think Duke is the best team left in the tournament. They're my championship favorite, and a lot of people's championship favorite. I'm going to go Duke over North Carolina. And gosh, Villanova is they're so well coached and all that, but I'm going to go with Kansas. I'll take the 1 seed. I'll go Kansas, and it'll be Kansas Duke on Monday. That'll be my pick. And we're going to have to go ahead and make a national championship pick, because we won't be broadcasting until the day after the national championship game, which will kick off episode 24 next week, ladies and gents. We'll have a national championship recap. But I'm going to say Duke, Kansas in the final, and I'm going to go with Duke. Agree or disagree?
I can agree with that. Yeah. I don't want to go with Duke, but yeah, like you said, they look like the best team left in the tournament. So yeah, they'll probably lose on Saturday. So
well, I mean, they're the most talented, and they're the best coach. They have the best coach in it. So they have the best players and the best coach. So it's going to be hard to pick against. So yeah, we'll say Duke, Kansas, and Duke in the final. Now the women's side, I didn't watch hardly any of the games yeah, I didn't watch hardly any of the games on the women's side, but saw the highlights of the UConn game, and man, that was a heck of a game.
Oh yeah,
UConn winning it in double overtime, knocking out NC State. South Carolina took care of business. I'll just go ahead and say now South Carolina is my favorite to win that one. I mean, they're just so talented. But now let's pull up the women's bracket. As we awkward silence it. Okay, so we got South Carolina, Louisville, 2-1 seeds. So that's the thing about the women's side. And UConn beat the other one seed, the only one seed that didn't make it. So I mean, but see, once you get to the Final Four, and I've noticed this the last several years on the women's bracket, it's very predictable. I mean, there are some upsets here and there, but for the large part, it's pretty predictable who's going to win it, especially the higher seeds. But once you get to the Final Four and you got these 1 and 2 seeds going at it, it makes for some pretty interesting matchups and some really good games. Yeah, don't sleep on the entertainment that the women's tournament can bring. I mean, I just see the UConn NC State highlights, and yeah, it was the most entertaining game of the weekend. Men's and women's brackets. But I'm going to go South Carolina over Louisville. Stanford, the defending champions, taking on UConn. Stanford has some absolute players themselves. Yeah, I'll go South Carolina. Stanford UConn's a little tricky to me. The one game I sat and just really watched the UConn play was when they played UCF, and I didn't think UCF was ever really threatening. They made it close, but I never saw them as a real threat to take over the game. I thought Paige Beckers, the superstar for UConn, should have taken over the game more, and she did that completely in the NC State game. Took over when she had to, scored 8 of her 27 points in the second overtime in the win against NC State. Well, that was Sunday, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Sunday. So that's what she has to do. They got the ball to Kristen Williams, who's a CAC grad from North Little Rock, Arkansas route. So shout out Kristen Williams. Heck of a game by her. But yeah, I mean, I could see UConn beating Stanford, but I've seen Stanford play. I'm going to go with Stanford in that. So I'm going to say South Carolina, Stanford in the final. And I'm going to say that South Carolina gets it done. And to me, that one's not even. South Carolina is just so loaded.
Yeah.
That I just don't see anybody if they're playing as close to what they're capable of. I could see UConn or Stanford upsetting them, but just talent wise, just top to bottom, I see South Carolina getting it done. Who do you have in the other game though? Stanford or UConn? Because you've seen UConn play.
Man, if what's her name? Paige Buchers. Is that how you say it now? Beckers?
Yep. Just act like the U's not there.
Okay. Yeah, if Paige Beckers, she plays like she did down the stretch Sunday night, man, it's hard to pick against them. I mean, hell, I think the whole time I watched I picked up on at the end of the regulation, but I think through the end of regulation and through both overtimes, I only seen her miss one shot. And it was a rattle out. So
we'll see. And here's the thing. Beckers was hurt, a large chunk of the season, and that's why they're a 2 seed basically, because she did not play a large chunk of the season, and when your best player is not on the floor, it's going to make a huge difference. Obviously,
I think they lost another one of their star players though, didn't they?
I don't know, but I mean they got enough there to go win it. See, that's the thing. I mean, UConn could easily be a 1 seed when healthy. So
yeah,
Yeah, I could see UConn winning, but
I'll roll with
Stanford's also,
UConn.
yeah, Stanford's also
I'll
loaded.
I'll pick against the Smarties.
I mean, it could
Or
happen.
the
I mean,
super Smarties. I'm sure people who go to UConn are pretty smart too. Not calling anyone dumb here.
Yeah.
We're just we know what I'm referring to as Smarties.
Calm down, Husky fans. But send your hate tweets to @ShoeBootySports.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Haters love us, and we love to give retweets. So yeah, hit us up with your hate tweets. So yeah, I could definitely see UConn with Becker's back and Kristen Williams playing well. I could see them knocking off Stanford. I wouldn't be surprised. You could almost say it's a 50-50 game. But I'll roll with the Cardinal. So, and in the final, are you going with South Carolina or are you picking UConn?
Man, I'll be with you on the South Carolina pick.
Yeah, they're so damn good though.
No.
South Carolina, that is. So yeah, all right. There's your picks, and yeah, we'll be back with more of that next week. See how that worked out for us. But sticking with college hoops, and we don't normally get into recruiting or anything, just because I mean it's fresh out of high school stuff, and
yeah,
I want to see what you do at the next level. I don't typically pay attention to recruiting or care to or even talk about it, but anyway, having said all that, Arkansas landed their third 5-star recruit, which was announced yesterday during like the McDonald's. It wasn't the All-American game. I think that's going on right now, actually, or has it just happened Tuesday? But yeah, yesterday, see, that was the thing. I was on the treadmill. It was like a skills competition. They had the TVs on the treadmills at Planet Fitness. So great treadmills, by the way, Planet Fitness. So, but I saw this kid, cough button, Anthony Black from Duncanville High School in Duncanville, Texas. He is the number 20 rated prospect by ESPN. And according to who you listen to, like Arkansas was saying, like, in all their posts, like number 1 point guard, coming out of high school. It's like, well, is he a small forward? Is he a point guard? But I guess if you're in a post saying the number 1 point guard in the country sounds better than 20th ranked prospect as a small forward, I guess. So I guess that was the social media hyping up the commitment, I guess you could say. But it's a huge deal that this is this will be going on year 4 for Coach Muss. I've been to two Elite Eights in a row, and just he is ultra competitive, as you can tell, just looking at him on the sideline in the Duke game. It was, yeah, you could see how much it was just irritating him, just seeing his team just get overwhelmed basically by how talented Duke is. And Arkansas has proven that they could be that. I mean, they did it in the 90s. It's very hard to do, but Muss will be the guy to get them there. And I'd say if it can happen, but 2 Elite Eights in a row. I mean, we're seeing that it can happen.
Yeah, we're on the right track.
Absolutely. But anyway, we bring it up because this is the third 5-star recruit in this class that Muss has gotten, along with Nick Smith and Jordan Walsh. Smith is the number 6 overall prospect, which, by the way, he lit up the dunk contest last night. I don't know if you saw any highlights.
Yeah, I seen the highlight. Yeah,
gosh, he was amazing. He would have easily won the NBA dunk contest this year, but so could probably the 4th place guy in the dunk contest last night. So yeah, but 3 5-star recruits, couple 4s coming in next year too. You see some guys already hitting the transfer portal for Arkansas, which is just going to happen. If you're not playing this year, Chance Moore, I believe was his name. Yeah. But yeah, and that's the thing. And no offense to him, but if I didn't hear your name, if I didn't even know what your name was or see you all season, it's probably probably because you didn't see any time on the floor, because I watched the Hogs very closely this season. So
yeah, wish him the best. Good luck.
Yeah, wish you the best. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's best for you to go elsewhere and get an opportunity. So he's doing the right thing for him, and it's making room for must add to the roster too of guys that will come in and contribute. So yeah, gosh, it's and depending on who you listen to, another thing, Arkansas has been they're putting out there the number 2 recruiting class, but then you read ESPN's report, it's like it's Kentucky. But with this signee, Arkansas could overtake them for that. I mean, how closely you want to follow that, I don't know. But they were like, Duke's still the clear-cut number 1. I think they have three guys in the top 10 that they signed, which is just crazy.
Stupid.
And I mean, yeah, and Coach K is not even going to be there next year. So I mean, it's just Duke is the premier basketball program now in men's college hoops. It just is. I mean, Coach K built it into that. He spent 42 seasons building that. I mean, the premier basketball program in college basketball. I don't know how many championship like Coach K has 5. He's won 5 of them. I don't know if another school has won more than that during his 42-year stretch. That'd be interesting to look up. We'll have to look that up.
Get our stats guys on that.
Yes, we'll have to get our stats guys on that. But in fact, I kind of want to look into that. So we got our statisticians on it.
They're on it quick.
They were on it quick. Duke and North Carolina, since in the last 42 years, are tied for the most national championships with 5 apiece. Coach K getting all 5 for the Dukies, and Roy Williams and Dean Smith, splitting those 5. Roy getting the last 3. So interesting stat there. So yeah, Duke definitely the most successful program since Coach K has taken over. 42 years ago. Wow. Also, I thought of this something we skipped over. The UConn women, going back to them, this is their 14th consecutive Final Four appearance. 14 straight Final Fours. And Gino is 11-0 in national championship games. I don't know if it's that I did not look up. I don't know if it is they've happened over those 14. I guess it had to have, right?
Yeah.
Give us a golf rundown while I look this up. Let's talk about Tiger.
I hear you. He is on his way to Augusta.
Yep. He played today. He played 18 today.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure he played 18 somewhere today. I mean, he's Tiger Woods.
It was in Augusta.
Oh, was it? Well,
yeah.
I just heard that he got on the plane. He was headed to Augusta. It's not been confirmed if he's going to be participating in the Masters, but man, wouldn't that be something just for him to even try to compete? But I don't think he's ready, but hell, who knows? Wouldn't be the first time he surprised me or anyone else. So, yeah. It's about the golf rundown I have. And Phil's not playing. Of course, we didn't. We touched on that last week. So, poor Phil.
Well, it has not been over like that whole stretch during those 14 years. Because that's the thing. Like UConn hasn't won the national championship since 2016.
Yeah, they're for a little bit though. They're winning every single.
Yes, it made me not. It made me not like them just because it was so predictable. It was like Alabama football or Yankees baseball, back in the day. Or
yeah,
it was so predictable. I mean, they'd win by like 40 in the national championship game. That's not entertaining. But I mean, it's great if you're a UConn fan. But
yeah,
no, UConn had won 4 in a row. From 4 championships in a row from 2013 to 2016. 2016 they were finished undefeated twice during that stretch. 40-0 in 2014 and 38-0 in 2016. noteworthy. And yeah, okay, and finished 39-0 twice in 2009, 2010. So yeah, Baylor with a perfect record in between there, going 40-0 in 2012. I'm sure that was during the Brittany Griner era. Which during that around that time, I went and covered a Little Rock Hall Jacksonville game there at, gosh, I can't remember the name of the arena there at Little Rock Hall, but I was in the hallway, just in the locker room, waiting to talk to, I guess, the Jacksonville girls coach. I can't remember, because Hall had a really good player that ended up going to Rutgers of all places, Tyler Scafey, and she actually ended up, I believe, at Arkansas, like finished her career at Arkansas. But if I remember correctly, but I saw the Baylor head coach Kim Mulkey. She just walked by me in the hallway. It just walked past me as I was sitting there waiting, and I was like, "Wait, I recognize that person. Like, who is that person?" And then it hit me. I was like, "Oh, I see her on ESPN sometimes." So anyway, just interesting little tidbit about that. But just back to the subject. It was, yeah, the UConn women are in their 14th straight Final Four. Just wow, that's insane. So just worth pointing out. You can root for it, you can not root for it. It's hard not to root for them though after the show they put on the other night. Like that was a monster game. So yeah, just interesting fact there. So yeah, UConn women dominant. Not recently though, and I think it's better for the game that way. But Duke men, yeah, it's very possible they could go out on top this year. So uh, jump into another subject now. Barstool Sports put out on Facebook today a post about building your start. It was one of those building your starting fives. You know, you can spend $15 and you build a starting five for your NCAA tournament team. Are you pulling that up right now?
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
Yeah. Which I got to go back to. No, I think I remember who I picked. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I got it. All right. So give me your starting five. I don't want you to be
Uh,
influenced by mine.
okay,
And
well,
and
let's see.
name the position.
I kind of got stuck, dude. Well, so I had it. I had three filled out, and then I stopped. I had Curry at point. Noah at center for $3.
Now,
I had
let me stop you real quick. We're gonna go through the list of them because we gotta say who's
Okay.
where. All right.
Yeah.
So on the $5 spending line, which is the most you can spend on one player, at point guard you got Steph Curry. At shooting guard you got Jimmer Fredette. Remember him. Uh, small forwards you got Adam Mustache Morrison. At the power forward slot you got Christian Laettner, maybe the best college basketball resume ever, probably. Of or it's up there anyway. And then
Yeah.
at center you got the unibrow Anthony Davis. And at the $4 spot, point guard Kimball Walker, shooting guard JJ Redick, forward Carmelo Anthony, power forward Tyler Hansbrough, and at center Frank Kaminsky. And we'll just kind of roll through the players on the last three columns. $3 you got D Brown, Dwayne Wade, Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott, and Marcus Camby. Yeah, that was what they were
Yeah,
calling.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Marcus Camby and Joakim Noah. The $2 slot, you got Shabazz Napier, CJ McCollum, Gordon Hayward, Larry Johnson, and Anton Jameson. And down at the $1, you got Brett Comer, Doug Edert. Is it Edert? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I never sat down and watched St. Peter's.
Yeah, I believe it was Edert, or is Edert.
Okay, I don't know this one. Ali. I'm gonna give it a shot. Farakmanish. Sure, we'll go with that. The last.
I'll just let you take the remaining two. because I'm god awful with names. So.
Well, my screenshot covered up the.
Oh.
Oh no, it went away. Okay, Cameron Krutwig and Mamadi Diakite. We'll go with that.
It's probably
All right.
Ducati or something.
Well, then the K and the I's are in different, or the A is in a different spot.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me your team.
Okay, like I said, I was trying to quickly do it, and I got halfway through it, and then started thinking about it, and then, yeah, time's up. But like I said, I had Curry at point guard. I had Jakeem Noah at center.
Jakeem?
Joakim.
Joakim? Joakim, I believe is how you say it.
Who cares?
Okay.
I got
All right,
Melo.
All right, so let's go through it again. I got distracted by Jakeem. So you got
Yeah.
Steph, Melo, Noah.
Yeah. And then I don't have anybody. So I guess I've got to freshly pick someone from the 2 and the 1.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can only spend 15.
That's my only option. Yeah, I know. Man, I'm gonna go with I guess McCollum and the guy's name we're not sure how to pronounce, Diakite for my power forward.
Okay.
So boom, you got it.
All right. Well, here's my list.
I'm sure you put a lot more thought in it than I did.
I did a whole like 5 minutes into it.
You're gonna say a whole lot more.
Yeah. So Leitner.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker. Joakim Noah. Hard to argue. I mean, that's the last great college basketball team there was.
Yeah.
Like team that knew the players. The back-to-back Florida teams that won it all. So Noah's definitely going on there, especially at the $3 bargain.
Yeah.
The last two were last two were a little tough, but I went with Gordon Hayward and Doug Eddert, the St. Peter's guy. So
you just wanted to go with Dougie.
I kind of did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I only had $1 left to spend. I knew I wanted Gordon Hayward.
Why not go after that mustache?
Yeah. I mean, you could say Shabazz Napier, but I mean, no, Kemba did it too, and he's Kemba Walker. I mean, big flat out ball. So I like that team going up against anybody. I'll roll through it again. Leitner, Kemba Walker, Joakim Noah, Gordon Hayward, and Doug Eddert. So I like that squad. Let's go to war, fellas, in my fantasy world. But anyway,
go for it.
I like my team over yours.
I'm not arguing, man. Like I said,
I
rushed through those first 2 picks, and I was like, oh crap.
Those 3 extra picks or 3 extra minutes I spent.
Yeah, I know.
That was the difference. It's all about preparation.
Oh yeah,
kids.
Afternoon, yeah.
So, all right. So we did that, and we'll jump to football now. First of all, Bills are getting a $1.4 billion stadium that was approved. I saw the numbers where the Bills are paying like 500 million of it or something like that, 550, and the others are coming from public or the rest is coming from public funding. I don't know how that's going to work,
and none of it is being spent on a roof.
No, man, it's Buffalo. You got to keep the tradition alive.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know that Buffalo fans would have supported an indoor stadium. I mean, Bills Mafia is crazy.
I mean, that's their advantage. I mean,
that's what they do.
There where it's miserably cold,
and they build their draft around that. They really do. They got Josh Allen because they needed somebody that could throw in those conditions. Josh Allen had the strongest arm in the draft, and that turned out to be a amazing pick. In more ways than one. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool fan base. I think with the white now on the helmets, I think they have the best helmets in pro football right now. It's just it's a fun team to root for. It's going to be a fun team to watch for the next 10 years probably. and that city just loves that team, and their fans are just insane and just supremely loyal and very cool.
Yeah,
like probably the most loyal fan base maybe in pro sports.
They'll be keeping lifetime tables in business for a long time.
Absolutely. So shout out to the Bills Mafia, Bills fans. Very cool getting a new stadium. In other news, the Saints have signed Andy Dalton. I didn't look at the terms of the contract, but I don't even know who the other quarterbacks they have on the roster are right now. But you got Andy Dalton in there.
I think it's just Taysom.
Well, Taysom is going to primarily be used at tight end, according to whoever the head coach is now. But that's not Sean Payton.
Because Crab Legs, he was only signed for a year contract, right?
I believe they did bring back. I believe they did bring back Jameis. So, yeah, I believe he is coming back. But they're bringing it. I mean, he's coming off what, knee surgery.
Surely Jameis can beat out the Red Rocket for the starting position.
Red Rifle.
I thought it was Red Rocket.
No, you're thinking of South Park. When Cartman's playing Red Rocket with his dog.
I know that, but I thought, Red Rifle, Red Rocket.
Oh, there's a difference. One shoots up
Red Rocket arm, man. That's
space.
What it is. It's all,
And the other shoots like a gun. Not like a gun. I mean a gun. Because he got a gun. Yeah, But yeah, Red Rifle sounds better than Red Rocket.
Yeah, or Red
Quarterback. What were you about to say? Red Riding Hood?
No, Red Rider, like the BB gun. I've heard him call him that.
You have not. They have not called him that. He just completely fabricated.
So I heard it. It's true.
He just completely fabricated that.
I'm trying to save myself here.
Okay. All right. Well, it's definitely Red Rifle. Yeah, because remember JJ Watt had the thing that he got all butthurt about. Yeah, he said we turned the Red Rifle into the Red Rider BB gun, right? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay, Red so that's Rider. Where you heard it. Yeah. You should have said that. You should have made that argument. Dude, JJ Watt said it.
Yeah, because no, I just told you that I heard it. I mean,
well, if you would have clarified,
I didn't know I was have to go and document it for proof one day and source it.
You should have. It would have made your argument look better.
Well, now I know, man.
All right. Well, future reference. So, anyway, it's it's Red Rifle. But having said all that, I would take Jameis over him, a healthy Jameis over him. But Andy Dalton's a good backup. That's a good backup to have. So smart to sign him if you can, assuming it's an affordable contract or reasonable considering the position. But Taysom Hill going to tight end, we'll see how he'll do without Sean Payton as his head coach, because that's the guy that Sean Payton was just so proud of. That you could tell just how he's a player. I mean, he's a ball player.
Oh yeah.
He does highlight worthy stuff every game, but it's hard to utilize him. It's hard to, all right, let's take the game take the ball out of my quarterback's hands or somebody else and find a way to get him involved right now. A lot of it seemed forced, and a lot of times it didn't work out. But there are other times it was really cool. It was really cool to watch. So I'm not going to knock the move. But there were times where it seemed forced that they were getting Taysom Hill involved. But seeing him at tight end with a new coach, I don't know anything about this coach. We're going to find out this coming season. But we'll see how it goes with him at tight end. I assume he's not going to bulk up or anything a whole lot. I would think he's not going to block, right? I don't see him in there block. I don't see him out there blocking. I see him as a Jimmy Graham, not as big Jimmy Graham, just going out there and playing receiver, basically. I mean, he's physical when he gets the ball in his hands, but he's not going to be run blocking. Yeah. He's not going to be getting down to 3-point stands and run blocking. So we'll see how it goes. But the big news came out today. Actually, the NFL owners approved overtime rule changes just for the postseason only. And with this rule change, Both teams are guaranteed a possession. The vote passed on that 29-3 by the owners. How it works is both teams are guaranteed a possession. Like, let's say, and this was obviously prompted, or this obviously came about because of the Chiefs Bills overtime game in the postseason, where we just wanted to see more. We wanted to at least see Josh Allen get a chance to come back.
And I'm pretty sure the people or the team that wins the coin toss is what, 10-2.
Yeah, I mean, if you get if you win the coin toss, your chances of winning skyrocket.
Yep.
They go from 50-50 to significantly over. But yeah, it guarantees both teams a possession. So let's say Chiefs go down and score, the Bills get a chance to go down and retaliate to answer. So, and if the score's tied after both possessions, then it just goes to the sudden death format, which I think it's a pretty good rule change. I wasn't one of those people that thought they needed one. It's like you've got 4 quarters to decide. You've got 4 quarters to figure it out. Like at that point, then just figure it out in overtime. Whoever scores first. I liked it where you had to score a touchdown rather than just go kick a field goal. Especially, but you kind of had to do that with how powerful or how far kickers can make field goal. How far kickers can make a field goal out from these days. I mean, Justin Tucker, you just get him to the 45, it's over, what is that? Like 2 first downs, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and he's in range. So I liked it where they made the change where you had to go actually score a touchdown to keep the other team from getting the ball, being able to answer. But I guess this works. I like that they're only doing it for the postseason. Like they're making a special. They're doing it just for the postseason. I like that. That's how they went about it. So I'm good with it. I'm good with the rule change. Like I said, I want to see more football, especially when it's a game like that. That was a top 5 or 3 football game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this last postseason was special. I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch.
It was great games throughout. It was amazing, but that was the best one by far. So, are you good with the rule change?
Yeah, I'm good with the rule change. Like I was with you, man. I really didn't see the need for it, but for the postseason, it does make sense. I mean, of course, then again, if you lost, I mean, how you should have stopped them from going down the field and scoring on you. I mean,
exactly. That's how I feel about it. But it's a cool way for us to see more football in the postseason. So for that reason alone, I'm good with it. I would say, yeah, go ahead and pass it. I would have voted for it too. But all right, and in just to wrap things up, in other news, since Tom Brady's announced his comeback, Peyton has gone out and said he wants his retirement letter and gifts that he sent to him back. Jokingly, I'm sure, but yeah, just a funny way to comment on that. But
what do you say? Sheriff. He got to read all them good things.
Yeah, something like that
for nothing.
Yeah. I mean, he took all that time to send him that and then write that out, and then Tom just says he's coming back. I get it.
And
like I just did all that for nothing. Yeah, I want my bottle of wine back too. I'm totally on.
I wonder how much that bottle of wine costs.
Oh gosh, there's no telling. I mean, Tom can afford another if it's been.
Oh, dude, it's guaranteed more than we make in a year combined.
Absolutely.
Easily.
I don't blame him for wanting it back though. I'm totally with him on that. Maybe he wasn't joking. But yeah, now that I think about it, no, it was a funny response by the sheriff. And Jerry Jones wants his paternity lawsuit to be dismissed, alleges extortion. This is based on a woman claiming that she has fathered Jerry's child for X amount of years. I didn't read too much into it, but it sounds like something that Jerry Jones would be accused of. Not saying he's a bad dude or anything. It just sounds like something that it just sounds like a story that would come out of the cat, involving the Cowboys with
Yeah.
with what you've heard from them over the years. But I don't know if it's I know nothing whether it's true or not. But either way, it's an interesting story. It'll be one to keep an eye on as it unfolds, possibly through the court system. So and
More than likely through the court system.
yes, more than likely because she's not going anywhere. You don't take it that far just so you know what. Never mind. No, she wants to get that money. If in fact what she's saying is true. So anyway, jumping back to the NBA, the Grizzlies are sitting comfortably in the number 2 spot in the West. They have jumped ahead of the Warriors, who are kind of tilting in the wrong direction as we wrap up the regular season. I believe we're what 70 games in, 70, 71 games in at this point. So Suns are comfortable at the 1 spot. They're in the West. Miami is still at the 1 spot in the East. So I mean they're and that's the thing. Like the seeds 1 through 4 and 5, or almost a 5. It's like a game and a half back. I mean, it's very close in the East, and even the top 8, have a winning record. The bot or the 8th spot in the East has a winning record. The 8th spot in the West is like 31 and 44 or something. So yeah, I think the Lakers are like right behind that at sitting in sitting in the 9 or 10 spot. We won't talk about them. They're not worth it. But who is the Grizzlies, who they have been without Ja Morant for over a week now, and they are sitting at 18-2 without him. So, I mean, it's not all Ja Morant. I mean, he's the human highlight reel of this era. No offense, Dominique, but of this era for sure. So that's going to be a tough team, obviously, to deal with in the postseason. A lot of people are jumping off the Warrior bandwagon, saying like their title window is closing, or some are saying it has closed. I'm not ready to go there yet, or even say that. I don't know. I mean, Memphis and Phoenix is an intriguing matchup, and it's a kind of a toss up in the East. It'll be fun to watch in the postseason, in the later rounds. But anyway, just interesting record to look at over the last 20 games with Memphis and just I say last 20 games. The 20 games they haven't had Ja Morant. 18-2. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, it probably has to do a lot with who they played though. I mean, but yeah, they're
a little bit.
They've been playing.
But that's an impressive record.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It just shows that they're not all Ja Morant. They got pieces everywhere. So it's a fun team to watch, and they're close by. I'm gonna have to go see a Memphis.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Let me know if you do.
Well, my Uncle Wade went. Shout out Uncle Wade and family. They went to a Grizzlies game last week, and like it was on the TV at Slim's. Yeah, I was with B Rye and my niece and nephew, and B Rye's girlfriend, and we were just sitting there eating, and the game was on, and my dad was like, "Hey, Wade's at that game." I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And then I looked down and saw Ja Morant on the bench. I was like, "Oh, well, that's not cool." But they ended up winning, I believe. It was the Nets they played. So I mean, yeah, they haven't been playing slouches, Yeah.
And that was that his Kyrie's first game back?
No, he can.
No, that was.
You mean since the sanctions have been lifted? Yeah, he could play in Memphis.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I couldn't see your uncle going to Brooklyn to watch the game. So it was definitely in Memphis.
Yeah, it's Memphis is a easier trip than Brooklyn for sure. If you're coming from
the Little Rock area.
Yeah, Little Rock area. But yeah, long story short, the Grizzlies can play y'all. So that will wrap up episode 23 of Shoe Booty Sports. which is presented by Rhino Races. We saved it for the end of the show. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra, which is a one of its kind ultra marathon like race. Visit rhinoraces.com for details, and also check out their merchandise in the gear section: shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. So visit rhinoraces.com for details of that race series, which is the next premier race series. Rhino Races. Visit rhinoraces.com for details. Also, check us out here on YouTube, obviously. Subscribe to the channel. Find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. And come see us next week. We will have a national championship game recap on both the men and women's side. So it's going to be a fun weekend to watch some sports, especially next Monday. And we'll be coming at you the following night with episode 24, Shoe Booty Sports. But until then, we are going to enjoy the rest of the week, just like the rest of you beautiful people. So until next time, this is Graham Powell.
It's Brother Brown.
And we are out.
Peace.